I'm here to tell you, if you want to transition to full-time in the music business, it is possible. So you want to make it full-time in the music business. Your brother-in-law could put you to work tomorrow at his. I think he'd make a fine doctor. Okay, I know many of you have said similar words to yourself. I know I did in the beginning when I was pursuing music, and probably a couple of times along the way when it got tough. But I'm here to tell you, if you want to transition to full-time in the music business, it is possible. Now, a few of you are going to say, hold on, not many people can make it in the music business. Duh, we can't all reach the top. If you believe in yourself and you work hard, I do believe, though, that you can end up somewhere pretty cool. We can have fun along the way, and we can end up somewhere that you never thought you would be and have an awesome time doing it. Looking back, I think the biggest thing that helped me in my musical development and career development was diversity. Pete Thorne said on his channel the other day, great guitar player, professional musician. He said, diversity will get you through the adversity. And I really believe that when times are tough, being diverse is going to help you. Now, I don't just mean being diverse as far as your musical styles or education. I'm talking about career too, being able to diversify in those areas. So the first thing I suggest is looking for work within or around the music business. Because you're sitting on the outside and you're like, how can I ever meet the right people or make the right contacts to get in the business? Well, I could tell you from my own experience, when I was 19, I moved from Alabama all the way to New York City. Yeah, my friends and family probably thought I was crazy, but I did it. Had $300 in my pocket. So I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have any contacts in the music business. But what I did do was I went to 48th Street in Manhattan and got a job at Manny's Music Store. This was big for me. Now, like I said, you want to find a job that's related to the music business. So this did that for me. And what it afforded me was the ability to meet people, musicians, songwriters, artists. They all came into the music store, and I was able to learn to develop, to talk to people, to build friendships, all these things inside the music store. The other thing it did for me was I was able to buy musical equipment and recording equipment at cost, which was like half price of what you would normally pay for this equipment. So it allowed me to develop a whole recording studio worth of equipment over the span of about a year and a half. Now, one of those customers that came into the store, Steve Skinner, he had a studio where he programmed tracks and produced records for artists that came in. And he found out that I wanted to do something similar. And he said, I tell you what, I'll send you all the clients I don't want to deal with. And what that meant was he had some clients that were kind of a pain in the butt, and he didn't want to just drop them. He wanted to send them somewhere else where they could be taken care of. So I gladly took these clients. It allowed me the time to grow in my production and my arrangements, and kept some money flow coming in. So I would work in the music store in the daytime, then I'd work in the studio at night. Eventually, I transitioned to doing my recording studio full time, working with hip hop artists, rap artists, pop artists. And that's where musically I started to diversify. I now had a way to earn money and meet people in the music business and work with people in the music business. Now, I didn't have my dream goal of being a staff songwriter yet, but I was closer just because I took any job that came along. Now, the other thing that happened was when I transitioned to full-time at my studio in Manhattan, I decided to call up every top recording studio in New York and offer to work for free. Now, Secret Sound in New York, a very famous studio at the time, they had the Talking Heads coming in. Andy Marvel was a producer there. It was a happening place. So I was elated that I could go in there every night and learn production and arrangement and recording from somebody like Andy Marvel. So this allowed me, even though I wasn't getting paid, it allowed me to learn and work on a job that was in a professional setting. So you can see in the span of a couple of years, I went from just being a acoustic guitar player, writing songs and singing for myself in my bedroom, to all of a sudden working with some top people in a New York studio. Had my own studio going where I programmed tracks for a number of people, some famous people, some starting out people. I would take any work I could get. But what I was doing was building my skills. I had a way of making money that was close to my dream job of songwriting. So the next thing I want to talk about is this philosophy I've always had of always say yes. And I'll tell you a story. A client of mine in my recording studio gave a demo tape of some songs I had written to a jingle producer that he was friends with. And this jingle producer called me up and he said, I've got to have a spot written and recorded for this TV commercial, and I got to have it by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Now it's like 6 o'clock at night, and I could have said, oh, I don't have enough time. I mean, I've never even written a jingle. How do you do this? So I didn't do that. He faxed me over the lyrics and he said, put some music to it. I want it in the style kind of like the band Queen. And so, you know, me being diversified now, I could go, okay, I can do something like that. Okay, so I worked all night writing and recording this new piece of music, a la We Will Rock You by Queen. And at 8 a.m., I handed him a demo of my work. By me saying yes to that opportunity and impressing him with my ability to turn over something quickly, started a relationship that ended up for me for the next 9 years writing and producing TV jingles.
Crossfire, you get caught up in love. Crossfire, feeling fancy Phillies.
Stars of the show. Feeling fancy fashion star Phillies.
So for all my years of doing jingles, it was really great for diversifying my skills. One day we'd be doing a classical piece. The next day it would be dance or rap, or it would be pure pop. A lot of different styles, and I never knew what was coming my way. This was great training for later in my career when I'd have to show up and work with this artist, Darius Rucker, one day, Lady A the next day. Excellent training. And it all happened because I learned to say yes. The next thing I want to talk about is taking care of your responsibilities and not letting that be an excuse not to succeed. And what I mean by that is we've got to pay the bills. We all have to do that. The lights have to be paid. The car payment has to be paid. But we don't want to let that stop us from pursuing our dream. And I can tell you, for me, when I first moved to Nashville, I was lucky to find a publishing deal, thought I had it made, and then a year later, I lost that deal. I had a new house, I had a baby, a wife, and there was nothing. I lost my deal, you know? And so fortunately, I had developed the skills of programming tracks and doing demo production and record production. So I was able to do that out of my house for the next year and a half until I found another publishing deal. So being able to develop some skills along the way. And I won't say that that was 100% of my income. I did, or I may have delivered some pizzas and worked some odd jobs. But the point is, I had to take care of my family. But every second that I was not working or taking care of my family, I would be down in my basement writing a song. You know, I could be delivering a pizza and I'm doing lyrics in my head. I'm singing to myself. I'm focused on making that dream come true. So take care of your responsibilities, but don't sit back and go, well, I got to work this job, and so I really can't pursue my dream like I want to. It's easy to fall into that trap. I did it for a while in my life, and I can tell you it's not productive. You have to believe that you have what it takes and that one day you will make it, and it's a process. And I think if you do that, if you truly believe, you're going to end up somewhere cool. Okay, let's get serious. The last thing I want to talk about is what happens when you have that first taste of success and you get a song on the chart, and all of a sudden you've got a royalty payment that's, 6 figures, and you're like, I have made it. Now here's what I'm going to tell you, and listen, because I didn't listen to myself to this. So here's what I'm going to tell you. The most important thing about this video: don't spend all the money. Don't spend all the money. I have friends that went out, had a hit song, bought a boat, and 2 years later they're trying to sell that boat. The music business is like a roller coaster ride. So you want to make sure when you get that first taste of success that you put some money in the bank for a rainy day. Put most of it. Take a vacation with your wife or your girlfriend and your kids, whatever, but stick 90% of that money in the bank. It will save you down the road. Okay, guys and girls, I hope this helps. I'm sharing a little bit about my story, some of the ways that I was able to transition. And remember, no matter what your goal is, if you're working a little bit every day and you're waking up excited because you're doing something towards your goal, you're going to live a much better life. And I look forward to seeing you around SongTown. Cheers.